a radio show by the Voice of Stockton and Restore the Delta. This is the weekly radio show where we discuss everything Delta related: the environment, water management, water quality, farming, history and culture, public events, recreation, Delta food, and the arts. Tune into Delta Flows on KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at KXVS Radio.
KXVS LP Stockton.
This program does not reflect the views of KXVS management or KXVS, the Voice of Stockton.
This is KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, and it's time for Walk the Talk with your host, Jim Chong.
Welcome, and we want to just say this is a fabulous time to be able to start celebrating the things we are most grateful for. This is Jim T. Chong with Walk the Talk. We are just off the Miracle Mile, and I am extremely ecstatic about the fact that we are going to be having an incredible time with friends and family. And I'll tell you, everyone's going to be happy. Everyone's going to be happy except for the turkeys. And actually, the turkeys are probably not going to be very much of anything except for plated. That was a mean joke to the turkeys, wasn't it? But anyway, we want to welcome you. And today is a great day. And again, I am so excited always to be here with KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, as we go ahead and share with you things that are significant locally as well as globally. And I'm here and very fortunate today to be able to have a couple of outstanding guests. I have with us first here Leslie Edman. She is the Executive Director of the Central Valley Asian-American Chamber of Commerce, just located right off the mile as well. And then I have Mel Martin. He is a FitLuvStrong wellness coach. He is also one of the authors within the upcoming book being released next month. That is Breaking Barriers, Decisions that Elevate People from Ordinary to Extraordinary. So he is going to share with us about the things that we can do with our story, but also how to get ourselves in tune for the new year and, of course, fit and well. So as we go ahead and continue the show, I just want to remind everyone that we have a lot to be thankful for. And there's a flag that you see behind me. And with that flag, I hope that we sense just really the sacrifice that people have given for our freedom, because our freedom really isn't so much free. It was paid for by other people. And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to those of you that have served our nation, and thank you so much just for giving us the ability to do things like this on public radio. And again, this is a community radio station. And Governor Don, I just wanted to go ahead and just let you know I'm thankful for you bringing this all together. And I know there's a huge history here. We really welcome people's support. This is all about getting the message of the community here in Stockton out to the populace, as well as bringing things that enrich the community as a whole. So I just want to ask you, Governor Don, what are you grateful for going into this Thanksgiving?
Oh, wow, there's too much to say, of course, but thankful for you, Jim, and thankful for all the members of the community who saw the need for us to get involved in our own story, and all the support from folks who saw that it was valuable as well. And folks, including Leslie here with the Central Valley Chamber, Asian Chamber. There's plenty of other groups. We had strong support from the city, from the county, from nonprofits, from individuals. And really, I think it's just really beautiful that we're able to come together from such diverse backgrounds, from varying opinions, even sometimes, in disagreement, but in conversation, for us to find those solutions, the common ground that we really do share. Most of what we share is common ground. So I'm just really thankful to be a part of it, and feel really lucky that I get to be here and be involved, and thanks to broadcasters and involved members of the community like yourself, Jim, being able to to share what we're doing in our community with the world, and of course with our community. It's really beautiful. So yeah, thank you, Jim.
Great. Well, just getting a piece of what is going on here in Stockton, California. You may be listening nationwide, or you may be just listening locally here. We have with us a very special and dear person here. She is the executive director of the Central Valley Asian-American Chamber of Commerce, and we have several chambers that are here. And I want to mention that every chamber has its distinct, unique qualities and characteristics it brings to the community. And I am so excited about just what the CVACC has to bring to the community. And I want to go ahead and just welcome you, Leslie Edman. How are you doing today?
Great, Jim. And thank you so much for inviting me today to KXVS. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'm excited to be here on this show, my first interview here with KXVS. And we really appreciate you, Don, for being a member of our chamber. And we have a whole group of people coming here to see what you're all about later today.
Yay.
Well, we're going to be talking about the stories behind people, but there is also a story behind the Central Valley Asian-American Chamber of Commerce. Tell me a little bit about the history of the chamber.
Well, the Central Valley Asian-American Chamber, I'm going to shorten that to CVACC for the audience. It's a nonprofit that was formed in 2000 by a Chinese-American Stocktonian, Dennis Lee. And it was his vision to create an organization, a nonprofit that would serve as a bridge, and he likes to call it a resource contact for the broad Asian-American community. At the same time, he created a newspaper, the APA News and Review, which creates stories and covers the news for the Asian American population in the Central Valley. His vision was to create this foundation for the Asian population, and he really did begin the chamber with the initial programs and events and made those really important relationships with the community.
Those are really important things to remember, because when you look at the history behind what happens with some of these organizations, it becomes very interesting. And I know he's very active, not just here, but also in Sacramento. So there's a tie-in that he tries to do just with communities as a whole, ethnic communities as a whole. And I want to go ahead and just describe briefly, what does the chamber offer today?
Certainly. CVACC has grown into a professional business membership organization. We continue to connect our members with the business community and to nonprofits, community-based organizations, government agencies, and educational institutions. Our focus is to promote and help grow Asian American businesses and the larger business community as a whole. You might ask, how do we do this? We do it through economic and business development and through community involvement. Like the other chambers, we hold a monthly business mixer to help you network and promote your business. And we also have a monthly workshop, 1 or 2 workshops a month, that will help you to develop your business and personal development. As a matter of fact, Jim, you've been really instrumental in helping us to create this program for the chamber, and we're really grateful to you for your part in that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And because of that, you usually provide good food, so you feed me well because of it. So that is the key. That is the key. But in all sincerity, I love the chamber, this specific chamber. Every chamber has its unique qualities, but I love the intimate feel of the chamber. And I know we have, how many members right now, roughly?
We have approximately 150 members at this time, and growing.
Oh, absolutely. And the members are very well connected. And what I really love about is just seeing how it's grown over the last few years. And especially since you came on, Leslie, I just want to mention it's been really great just to see the different events that have been evolving. And I want to talk about one of those events. But before we do that, I want to ask you, what is the mission of the CVACC?
Thank you for asking that question, Jim. The mission of our chamber and sort of the overarching goal for us is to improve the overall quality of life in the San Joaquin County and the Central Valley. In fact, our tagline since our inception of the Chamber has been Strength and Unity. And so by working with our members and the general community, we believe that together we do create a stronger voice for Asian Americans and create a better quality of life for our residents. You know, if you have a healthy and vibrant business community, don't you have a vibrant and healthy community as a whole? Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, I feel that in some of the meetings that we have, and of course I get a chance to participate and be there. And the whole thing is when you bring these people that are like-minded, and what I love, especially about the community here in Stockton, especially about the CVACC, is that there's a lot of the businesses coming together for one purpose. That's really to support each other, not just get their own business, but really support each other. And you know, there's a lot of chambers that do different things. I want to just ask you, why is the chamber important, and what makes this chamber unique?
Oh, thank you. That's a great question. Let me just share a couple of statistics with you. The population in Stockton now is about 307,000 people. We're a pretty big city. And the Asian Pacific Islander population is about 22% of that number. So that's about 65,000 people, or
Wow.
a quarter of the pie. That's a significant number, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, that is absolutely.
So we are an ethnic chamber, and there are 3 in Stockton, ourselves, the Hispanic Chamber, and the African-American Chamber. But I don't believe there is another organization. I believe we are the single organization that serves as a hub for the entire Asian American population.
You know, I think even amongst the Central Valley San Joaquin corridor, I don't believe there's another Asian chamber. Is that correct?
Not till you get up to Sacramento.
Ah,
Yes.
that's right. And then there's a lot of.
Yes.
I feel right at home there.
So being that ethnic chamber and that hub for the Asian American population here in Stockton does make us unique. For instance, we do a lot of outreach with the community. And for instance, on Saturday, I worked with the Japanese American Citizens League on a community service project. On Sunday, I attended the Hmong New Year's Festival. And last weekend, I was at the Diwali Festival, which is hosted by the Indian Association of San Joaquin. We have members in all those organizations, and we work closely with them to create that synergy and also those relationships that are so important to business. You know, there is a need for an entity to bring the broad Asian American community together. And because we are an ethnic chamber, we are sensitive to and tolerate the differences of our population here. And so diversity and inclusion make us unique and within our community.
You know,
By the way, you don't have to be Asian to join
I
our
was just
chamber.
going to say that, all right? You can be Chinese, Japanese, you can even be Caucasian, right? Caucasian. But I wanted to bring up something very significant here. I know we've just had the 3rd Breaking the Bamboo Ceiling event. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that is just an incredible event, bringing people all the way from Sacramento, from other places as well, Stanislaus. And tell us a little bit about what this event is. Can you describe what exactly is that event, and what are you referring to when you talk about the bamboo ceiling?
Great. I'm glad you asked that question. What is the bamboo ceiling? You know, that term was coined in 2005 by a Korean-American woman who is an executive coach, Jane Hyun. And it's really the Asian twist on that more familiar term, the glass ceiling. And it refers to that barrier or racial bias that, that Asian professionals often face when they're trying to rise in the workplace, and specifically in the business world. So usually those barriers can be a whole combo plate of cultural stereotypes and business and organizational practices that hinder our advancement. Interestingly enough, we're often called the model minority, aren't we?
Yeah.
And so we have, according to Forbes magazine, a higher education. Our education Well, Asian Americans hold about 51% bachelor's degrees versus 30% in the general population. And our average income, annual income, is $74,000 versus $54,000 in the general population. But despite that, we're still viewed as not as candidates for leadership. And there's some subtle biases against the Asians, and so we really need to overcome that. For women, there are two. One is racial and also gender, and that is the bamboo ceiling. So
now about the event. I know the event is a spectacular event. It attracts a lot of people right on the Stockton Country Club golf course there in their banquet room. Tell us a little bit about that event. Why is that event significant?
That event is significant. Well, let me just say that in 2015, there was a small group of women in the chamber who felt it was time for us to create a women's leadership event. Our friends over at the African-American and Hispanic Chamber had already had women's events for a number of years, and it was just time for us to spotlight our Asian-American women leaders. It was exciting. This year was especially exciting. It was our third year that we held this event, and it would not be possible without the support of our local sponsors, and PG&E helped to underwrite that in the beginning, our events, and so we're very grateful to them. It was our intention to host an event where we made these Asian American women leaders feel very special, and so we intentionally held it at the Stockton Golf and Country Club, a beautiful venue, so we could spotlight them and make them feel and elevate their status in front of the community. Our program includes a keynote speaker and a panel of Asian American women leaders from the community. An interesting note on that first event that we had in 2015 was that one of our honorees was Lois Yee, and she was in her 90s participating in the panel. And her husband, Skipper Yee, was one of the first Asian Americans that was accepted for membership at the Stockton Golf and Country Club.
Wow.
Chinese American, one of the first. So it was very fitting for us to honor her at the Stockton Golf and Country Club. It was such an exciting evening.
You know, I think that the chambers play such a vital role, and I think elevating and really highlighting the successes of just people accomplishing anything, breaking the bamboo ceiling, women that have really gone beyond the odds of achieving something great. And so any final words about that event specifically? I know it's an annual event. I know next year we have one planned as well, so it happens every year.
Yes, I mean, it's exciting. We believe this event is now on the calendars of a lot of people in our community. They're very excited about this. The attendance has doubled since 2015. This year we featured Dr. Ellen Jun. She is the president of California State University at Stanislaus, and she has buzzed through the ceiling as the first Korean American president of a 4-year college institution in the United States. That's pretty amazing. So she's a trailblazer, and she's opened a door for a lot of women. We now have 16 leaders in our alumni, and we're looking forward to Bamboo Event 4 in 2018.
Great. You know, I like what Jackie Chan said in his movie, Rush Hour. You know what he said? He said, bamboo, very strong. And he was bending when he was jumping off things. So that's what it's all about. Bamboo ceiling can be very strong, but to break through it takes momentum, takes fortitude and determination as well. But any final thoughts in terms of just anything we talked about today? And also, how can people reach you if they're interested in possibly learning more or joining the chamber?
Absolutely, Jim. And thank you for all your help and support with our chamber. We're going to continue as a chamber and with all of our events to fight that stereotype that Asians can't network, self-promote, or speak up or get politically involved. And you certainly are part of that because you love to speak. We hope everybody does join us next year at all of our events. And if you want to find out more about our chamber, you can contact me at Les Edman, LESEDMAN, at sbcglobal.net.
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure, and that's Les Edman, LESEDMAN, at sbcglobal.net. We also have a website, CV Asian-Amercan Chamber at .org. CVAsianchamber.org.
CVAsianchamber.org, or you can contact us on Facebook. You can look up CVACC. You'll see the Central Valley Asian-American Chamber of Commerce. So thank you so much, Leslie Edman, for joining us here today. And I know we have some members that are coming in here actually to the studio today to visit the studio, because KXVS is a place people want to be. And we're going to try to get a lot of maybe some of the sake here, some of the exotic wines and alcohol from the Asian community. How's that?
Soju.
Yeah, that's right. But not during working hours. No, but really find out more about the chamber, because this is a chamber with impact and influence, but also just really pulling together communities, which is what a walk is all about. You know, I go by the Wokstar. The walk is all about pulling people together. This chamber has done a great job with that. So before you head out, just wanted to see if you'd like to leave any closing comments.
Well, I would like to wish everyone a very happy holiday, happy Thanksgiving. We have so much to be grateful for in this country. So very warm wishes to you with your families over Thanksgiving holiday.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you to Leslie Edman, Executive Director of the Central Valley Asian-American Chamber of Commerce. Now, next up, we have with us Mel Martin. Again, he is with FitLuvStrong. He is a wellness coach. I should actually mention he's a wellness super coach. He just got back from an event from New York City as well. So, Mel, how are you doing today?
Hello and happy Thanksgiving week to all of you. How are you, Jim?
Oh, I am doing great. And I am so excited to be able to have you as part of the anthology that's going to be released in December, finally coming out. There's definitely a story to the book there. Breaking Barriers, just all about decisions that elevate people from ordinary to extraordinary. And before we get into just what you do, because I know there's some tips that you promised you would give to the listening audience here, I want to just ask you just what is FitLuvStrong? And I know it's FitLuvStrong. Describe to us FitLuvStrong, and where did that terminology come from?
Well, I've been a professional coach for over 30 years with a strength and conditioning background. And at 53, I'm really advocating right now just the ultimate health and fitness of that age group. And FitLuvStrong is effective wellness for those over 40 who want lasting results. And the key right now, if you're over 40, especially over 50, is taking care of yourself for lasting results. Don't look at it short term, like, oh, I want to lose weight or I want to look a certain way or whatnot. Those are short term results that don't last. You want to do actionable steps that ensure that every day you're going to have a very healthy present, because there's no guarantee to a healthy future. There's only the healthy present. So, FitLuvStrong is all about being physically fit. Love is the emotional and mental alignment that you have within yourself. And then strong is just being strong in all facets of your life. And that's why I came up with FitLuvStrong.
Wow. And I know you have some powerful information and some very constructive and great information to give to people about just how to be well, how to be fit. But I wanted to ask you, just getting back to the book and writing down your own personal story, I wanted to just ask you, what sort of aha moments did you glean from that? And why do you think it's important for people to know their story?
We all have a story, right? And one of the things that really struck me as I wrote that chapter, and by the way, thank you so much. I feel honored to be part of this multi-author collaboration amongst some other really brilliant people, is that life is a collection of moments. And every moment is an opportunity for you to either grow or regress. I'm very fortunate to be exactly where I am, and I'm in awe of what I can do. And I can tell you right now, I didn't succeed alone. There were a lot of instrumental people in my life that helped me get to where I am today. And in writing it, I chose to take my time with it, because there are a lot of memories especially, when you're chronicling personal struggle through victory, there are, I'm sure, as with everyone else, there are a lot of moments in your life that you tend to compartmentalize and lock away, and you don't think about them anymore. And that's the one thing that really struck me, is that, I revisited some things I hadn't thought about in such a long time, and I really just cherish the fact that I was in an emotional and mental intelligence state now where I can reflect on it and look at it for what I've learned from it, and look at it as to where I was in my life at the time and where I am now. And I'm so grateful for everything that I've gone through, all of it. There's some missteps, and there's some bad decisions, and there's, and at the same time, there's some glorious times where you just go, yes, that was phenomenal, instrumental. So that really stands out in my mind. You asked earlier about what you're thankful for during this holiday season. I'm thankful for all those moments. I'm thankful for all the people that have been along, that have come along on this journey that has no destination. It just keeps going and going until you move on to the afterlife. But, that really stands out in my mind.
Can you go a little more in depth in terms of what makes you so passionate about what you're doing right now to help other people become well and fit? What is a driving force for you? Well,
one of the things I had to overcome and better cope with now than I've ever had in the past is anxiety. I had a pretty painful childhood with as a soldier's son. Left home at an early age, had to really go through it all without any guidance, and kind of figured it out all on my own. And I started my health and fitness career at a young age, at 18, right out of high school, and something clicked within me. I was not a very studious high school student. Hell, it took me 5 years to graduate high school, of all things. And I didn't go to college until 7 years after I graduated high school. And it was only then that I was really just passionate about being the best student I could be. And I think that was more to prove to myself I could do it. But the passion I have in coaching and in training is the fact that I just love the feeling of how the body feels with exercise. And through the years, 20s, 30s, 40s, I've had 3 decades of stage of life training on my own, along with, countless clients over the years, where as your body changes decade after decade, and you are the common denominator of expenditure, meaning that you spend yourself, you give up yourself every decade, because your stress level changes and rises, because your responsibilities rise, and the environmental inflammation that's around you with, just the environment and poor diet and high stress, all that stuff. I really fought my way through that, and I really was relentless in keeping myself in great shape. And I transitioned from, a very strong and young bodybuilder through my 20s and 30s, and then 40s, I transitioned into just a regular guy. And then 2.5 years ago, I started running. And so now I love the conditioning I have from running, and I also still lift weights, and it helps me really. It's my, it's my meditative process, if you will. I can't sit still for a long time, so I can't do the normal meditation exercises. But when I work out, when I run, I get my best mental clarity. So I liken that to my meditative process. Everybody has one, So, that and the fact that I just love seeing people blossom and change and be victorious, and that's just something I've been blessed, to have. And I have the skill set to do it, and I just kept doing it better and better every day. And I found a niche, and I carved myself into it, and I add as much value as I can every day, with and without my own mistakes. And I just keep plugging along. And that's what I do.
Well, getting to know you just over the course of this past year, you have a very big heart for people. I know you have a big heart for family and a passion for what you do. And before I let you go here, you promised you'd go ahead and give a good tip for people to lock into to help them achieve just some success in wellness and fitness. And the reason why this is important, even for me, I'll tell you that a lot of things have happened, especially over the last few years. It's easy to reset our goal every year, and that's good to know that you can do that. But what is something that can really lock us in to gain the traction we really need to continue on? Why do you find that people aren't successful in doing it, and what do you think is a key for us going into 2018 to be able to really continue on and hit that goal in wellness and fitness?
As I mentioned earlier, my tagline is effective wellness for those over 40 who want lasting results. And the pitfall that most people do is they look at short-term goals and results. So we're coming up upon the classic holiday, the New Year's resolution time, and it's always a short-term goal. I want to start working out. I want to lose weight, or whatever the case may be. Right?
True.
And people just fail epically. They just do. That's because they don't look at it from a lasting results standpoint. If you look at your entire wellness, and there's so much more to health and fitness than just the physical health and fitness. Mm-hmm. There's so much more to that. There's your emotional wellness, there's your mental wellness. You absolutely have to understand why you're doing it. Because when you connect the why with your emotional and mental alignment, you will be unstoppable. Second, you got to meet yourself where you are. Meet yourself where your fitness level is. Meet yourself where your emotional and mental alignment are. Okay? And if you don't know what that is, find out how to reach that. There are a lot of great professionals out there. I'm easy to get a hold of. And you can just go to my Facebook page and see exactly how I do that. And I'm happy to share the method by which you could do that. The thing is, if you don't look at a blueprint of your life currently, there's no way you're going to create a new one to rewrite your story for a better. There's just not going to happen. I mean, year after year, it just blows by you, right? You just look at your children and see how fast they age. That's the measure of it all, right? If you're a parent,
Correct.
You look at your business and see the ebbs and flows, and you see how successful you've been in higher and lower times of the year. That's how you measure that, But the bottom line is, wherever you're at, ask yourself this question every 5 years. Every 5 years from where I am I going to be equal to or greater than I were 5 years prior? 5 years doesn't sound like a long time, but it really, it sounds like a long time, but it's not. Think about where you were 5 years ago. Blows by fast. I'm 53 now, so that means 53 plus 8 will be what, 61? Or I don't know. Sorry to say. So, yeah, but whatever the case may be, right? And you just keep going and going.
Yeah.
Right? And it flows by really, really fast. So schedule actionable steps. That's really, really key. If you don't schedule it, it's not going to be a priority. When it comes to wellness, when it comes to being in better shape, you want to impress somebody, impress your doctor. Everybody else complimenting you on how you look and how great you look and my jeans fit better. That's just a byproduct, and you can enjoy that on your own. That's short-lived, right? It's just a moment.
Yes.
But when your doctor says to you in your annual physical, especially if you're under 40, and says, "Hey, I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up," your cholesterol level's down. All right? Whatever you're doing, keep it up. If it's exercise, if it's positive nutrition, absolutely. And the fastest way to improve your nutrition, don't eat it if that's out of a plastic bag or a box. If it doesn't run, swim, fly, or grow out of the ground, don't eat it.
Wow.
Okay? And give yourself a ratio of 80-20. Okay? So let's say you ate 4 meals a day, right? But that would be 28 meals in a week. Let's say 30 meals, right? Mm-hmm. 80% of that could be just really clean, non-processed foods, right? 8 times 3, 24. So out of 30 meals, you're looking at, you can actually afford to have 3 good fun meals. That would be your 20%. If you stayed at that ratio, you'd be pretty darn healthy as far as fueling. Now, if you add an exercise program to that where you meet yourself at your fitness level and you start walking, or even if you're a gym nut and you work out real hard, there's always a way to improve that, to improve the quality of your workout, no matter where you're at. So you want to impress your doctor to where they lower your need for medication.
Yeah.
And you want to impress your doctor where your doctor says you don't need it at all. I've had countless clients do that.
Absolutely.
That is lasting results.
That's
lasting results.
I appreciate you focusing in on the longer term, not just the short term goal. And I think that's where I missed the mark a little bit. I love the fact that you gave us something measurable, the 80-20, to really consider what sort of things are we eating, because it gives us something to connect with. Just eat healthy. That really doesn't do a whole lot for me. It helps a little bit, but you just giving that percentage ratio helps me a lot, and just making that decision to just do it. I just wanted to mention, I know that there will be people that are interested in terms of just getting better, getting more well and fit. Can you go ahead and give the information, your website, and just the best way to reach you?
Sure. You can visit me on Facebook, Mel Martin. You can email me directly at FitLuvStrong@gmail.com. and I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to learn from you to see where you're at. And, you know, I always look at my professional biography as a pay-it-forward type of system, meaning that every person I've ever worked with in my career helps me forward. So if I'm fortunate enough to work with you, you're helping me work with the next client, because I'm going to learn something uniquely about you that's going to add to my knowledge base. And the next person, or maybe the next person after that, is going to have something very similar, and together we're going to make that person better. And that there's power in that. And that helps a client understand how important it is to partner with me or with any professional to bring the best out of themselves.
Yeah, can you
so
go
again,
ahead?
You can contact me. Yeah.
Can you go ahead and
me?
give your contact information and spell it out
Sure.
as well, because it's a little different.
Sure. FitLuvStrong@gmail.com. FITLUVSTRONG@gmail.com. You can also look me up as under Mel Martin in Facebook, and I'd love to get to know you.
You know, I think this is excellent. Any comments from you, Governor Don, in terms of just that whole attitude of getting fit, well, and just some things that he shared?
No, I think that's great stuff. I mean, a lot of times, you know, especially this time of year and right before the summer, people get into like, how am I going to look, or how much do I weigh? And, you know, that's all missing the mark. You know, fitness is not any one of those things. You know, it's a bigger picture idea. And I think it's great, especially for people who are getting older. I'm over 40 now. And, you know how it is when we work with technology. A lot of times our work is on our seat. You know, we're sitting down and we're working. Our fingers are getting a great workout, you know, on the keyboards and the mouse. But yeah, we gotta think about that, because you know, if you're not improving, then you're probably deteriorating. You know, so I think it's a great focus, because you know they say if you're not building up, you're wasting away, right? If you don't use it, you lose it. So I think it's great, and I wish Mel the best of luck, and I'm glad that he's made this a focus, because we need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final words here, Mel, before we let you go? I know you got a busy agenda, and I appreciate your time here.
No worries. I'd like to just leave one thing. There are a lot of people out there that have, you know, a work physical position where they're seated, they're in front of a monitor, or they're conducting business behind a desk. There is nothing more deteriorating to your body than a seated position for an extended period of time. I would encourage everybody who has that to set a timer on their phone every hour to get up and walk around and just push your hands over your head as if you're reaching for the sky, realign your core and your spine, you know, really just give yourself that reinvigoration, and take a few deep breaths and just reset, and then go back to work. If you just did that a few times a day, 4 or 5 times during the day, you can relieve yourself of a lot of stress that builds up in your shoulders and in your neck and your lower back. That simple move right there will help. So in the spirit of all the people that work real hard in a seated position, that's something I highly encourage everybody to do.
Well, thank you. And we are with really a super coach. He is Mel Martin with FitLuvStrong, the wellness coach. And you can reach him again at, if you can go ahead and give your email address one more time.
Sure. Absolutely. FitLuvStrong@gmail.com, FITLUVSTRONG@gmail.com, or just look me up on Facebook under Mel Martin, and I'd love to hear from you and learn from you.
Great. And, you know, a lot of things that you hear today, this is really practical. Thinking about your health. We talk about a couple things that are very important in my other show over in Sacramento on Money 105.5, Rush Hour for Success and Live Strong America. We talk about the importance of money, your wealth, and your health, because a lot of times earlier on, you're expending a lot of your health to gain wealth, and you end up later expending a lot of your wealth to regain your health. Although if you really give away your health, it's really hard to come back. And so we encourage you to think about the things that are most important, and just the whole thing about planning. We think about our city, the health of our community, the health of our city. A lot of things also come into play. Think long-term, not just short-term. Think about the things that you can do today to really better the city here over in Stockton, California. And as we go ahead and continue through this month, you know, be thankful. Through December, be thankful. Through 2018, be thankful. I want you to think about the things that matter most in life, the people that you love. Give them a big hug. Be grateful for the things that you have. Be grateful for your health, your wealth, the livelihood that you have, and just being able to listen to programs like this from KXVS, the voice of Stockton. And so as you go out, be thankful. And I encourage you, I always talk about a hug-olution. Go ahead, give somebody a hug. Or if you need one, get a hug. It brings people closer together, and it really doesn't cost you anything, but it can truly change lives. And so go out there, be thankful. God bless America. And we want you to know this is Jim T. Chong with Walk the Talk and KXVS, the voice of Stockton, just off the Miracle Mile. Have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.